There's a lot of noise around the new year. New goals, new habits, new versions of ourselves. And if I have to hear the word New Year's resolution one more time, I think I'll freak. Welcome to season two of Fit Fueled Female, a season rooted in growth, intention, and choosing what actually matters. Everywhere you look, there's this pressure to come in louder, more motivated, more disciplined, more optimized. Like if you don't declare it, you're already behind. But as I enter this year, I feel something different. I feel at peace. There's this quiet, steady sense that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Not rushing, not scrambling, not chasing what's next just to prove that I can. I feel revived. I feel fresh. And for the first time in a long time, I'm actually resting without guilt. This year, I'm choosing me. I'm choosing my family. I'm choosing who I want to be surrounded by and who I don't. I'm choosing faith and I'm choosing to find joy. Not someday, not once everything is figured out, because honestly, I don't know if it ever will be, but right here, right now. So instead of a reinvention, instead of a reset, instead of a louder version of myself, I'm choosing something much simpler. It's a new year, but it's just me. And yeah, 2026 may be a new year. And I know so many of us, myself included, are just really grateful to be here. But I don't want to rush past that. I want the fact that we arrived here tired, yeah, changed, wiser, to be the thing that fuels how we live this year, to move with a little more perspective, to be a little kinder, to choose simpler. Lately, I've been on a bit of a 90s music kick. Alanis, Goo Goo Dolls, Blink 182, all the one hit wonder bands. And it's not that I'm nostalgic for that time, it's that I find myself longing for the simplicity of it. Before we were glued to screens, before everything lived at our fingertips, before we felt like we had to document every moment to prove that it mattered. And that's something I really want to practice this year. Putting my phone down, walking away for a while, in the moments when I don't actually need it, and soaking in what's happening right in front of me, letting this year be lived, not scrolled. Because don't we deserve that? After everything it took to get here, don't we deserve to experience this year fully? And honestly, that choice became really clear to me on New Year's Eve. There was no dazzle, no glitz, no glam. My husband was playing guitar in our living room and I was singing along with him. Nothing rehearsed, nothing perfect, and also nothing to be super proud of, apparently, because my 4-year old looked at me and said, Mommy, you are not Taylor Swift. Okay, thanks, Lily. But our kids were cozied up next to us. The dogs were laying by the fire. A few friends came over for a simple New Year's toast early because we were going off of Eastern time. And by 11:30, we were in bed. I slept until 9 the next morning and we watched a movie until 11. And I remember sitting there in the quiet of it all thinking, this is it. Nothing was missing, nothing needed to be louder, nothing needed to be different. That night, it didn't feel small, it felt settled. And it reminded me that the life I'm building doesn't need to be explained, it just needs to be lived. Which leads me to my first lesson. You don't need to announce growth. And I think that's what this year is teaching me so far. You don't need to announce your growth. Not every decision needs to be shared. Not every change needs a post. Not every season needs an audience. Some of the most meaningful growth happens quietly when no one is watching, when there's no applause, and when there's no validation coming in. This year, I keep coming back to the word growth, and that surprises some people because growth is usually framed as something hard or uncomfortable, something you muscle through, something that breaks you open, something that forces change. But the reason growth is my word this year is different. This year, growth means honoring what I've already learned. It means choosing differently because I finally trust my faith. It means letting my life reflect my values instead of my obligations. And when I say that, sometimes I get this confused look like, haven't you already grown? Like, growth is something you graduate from. Almost like the question is, didn't you do that already? Don't you want to stop growing and just be what you've grown into? But growth doesn't always look like breaking yourself open. Sometimes growth is integration. It's living out what you've already learned. It's choosing consistency over chaos. And that kind of growth, it doesn't need to be loud. We've gotten so used to narrating our lives in real time that it can start to feel like something doesn't count unless it's seen, like a choice isn't real unless it's explained. But that night, sitting on the couch, listening to music, watching my kids curl up beside us, none of that needed a witness. It was full all on its own. Quiet intention still moves you forward. You can choose differently without announcing it. You can set boundaries without explaining them, and you can change direction without defending the why. And maybe this year, growth looks like doing less, but doing it more intentionally, letting your life be lived instead of narrated. And that doesn't mean disappearing. I mean, we've all probably thought about taking a break from social media. Honestly, the idea sounds really nice sometimes. But for me, it's how I share this podcast. It's how I connect. It's how I choose which moments I want to let out into the world. And I think that's the difference. Posting what feels like me, what feels right, not chasing views, not performing for an algorithm. I mean, even TikTok, if I'm being honest, I have such a hate love or love hate relationship with. I'm learning to show up there in the same way, sharing what's aligned, not what's trending, and letting growth happen without forcing it. Because quiet intention, it doesn't mean silence. It means being selective. It means sharing from fullness, not pressure. It means choosing presence in your real life. And then, if you want, letting pieces of that out. Which leads me to my next lesson. Peace is something I'm asking for, and you should too. The second lesson I'm carrying into this year, it's about peace. Not because I've mastered it, and certainly not because I've arrived there, but because it's what I'm asking for. Growth may be my word for the year, but peace is my prayer. It's the thing I keep bringing to God, the thing I keep asking Him to help me find. Because if I'm being honest, peace doesn't always come naturally to me. I live in my head. I can carry a lot. I can stay in motion even when my body and soul are asking me to slow down. So this year, I'm not chasing peace as a finish line. I'm practicing it. I'm asking God to help me choose it in the small moments and how I respond and how I rest and what I say yes to and what I let go of. And I'm learning that peace, it isn't passive, it's intentional. Sometimes peace looks like stepping back instead of pushing harder. Sometimes it looks like trusting instead of controlling. And sometimes it looks like letting things be unfinished. And that can be uncomfortable. But I believe that the kind of peace God offers isn't about everything being perfect. It's about being held even when it's not. And honestly, I would love just a little bit of that peace once in a while. Not every day, not all the time, just a breath here and there without someone asking me for a snack or yelling, Mom, I'd really appreciate that. Which leads me to my power move for the week. Onward. That's it. Onward. Doesn't mean pretending the past didn't happen, doesn't mean ignoring what hurt or skipping over what shaped you. It just means we're not living there anymore. No more narrating every decision through the lens of, oh, last year was so awful. No more dragging yesterday into every choice you make today. You faced it, you carried it, you made it here. So pick yourself up, girl. You survived, you learned, and you're still standing. Let's go. What's been fueling me this week? Lately, sleep. So much sleep, all the sleep. And honestly, I didn't even realize how badly I needed it until I finally let myself have it. I've been sleeping in and taking the 7:15 class or maybe even the 8:30 instead of the 6 a.m., sleeping with no alarm at all and a nap here and there in the middle of the day. And oh my gosh, it's been amazing. I used to think rest had to be earned, like sleep was something you squeezed in after you've done enough that you just had to get through it. But this kind of rest, it feels great. It feels healing. And if you're listening to this and your body has been asking for rest, try it. And if you're like me, who has to work all the way up until the end of the year, and the first week or so in the beginning of the new year is your time to breathe, rest. Don't fight it. Look, I know you can't catch up on sleep, but you can absolutely prioritize it. And sometimes that choice alone can change everything. So as you move forward into this year, I want you to remember this. You don't need to reinvent yourself. You don't need to explain your pace. You don't need to prove that you're doing enough. And you don't need resolutions. Growth can be quiet. Peace can be practiced. Rest can be productive. And wherever you are right now, you're allowed to meet yourself there. It's a new year, and it's just you. So, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so glad to have you by my side, and I am so excited for what we have to come this year. And in the meantime, stay fit, stay fueled, and stay you. I'll see you next week.